Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's well. I'm coming lakeside from our church campground where we had two baptisms today. So I'm super stoked to be here with you all. I'm going to be reflecting on Psalm 1. I'm going to focus on verses 1 through 3. And it says this Psalm 1, 1 through 3 describes the blessedness of those who delight in God's law and meditate on it day and night. They are compared to a tree planted by streams of water, yielding fruit in season, whose leaves do not wither. Applying this to the context of the Nonviolent Medicaid Army and the current Medicaid cuts crisis, we see a call for believers to live out the principles of God's word, which include justice and compassion for those in need. The righteous versus the wicked in verses 1 and 2, the psalm contrasts the righteous person who follows God's ways with the wicked who ignores them. In the context of the Nonviolent Medicaid Army and the Medicaid cuts crisis, believers are called to align with God's heart for justice and compassion, standing against systems and policies that neglect or harm the vulnerable. Bearing fruit in season, just as the tree planted by the water bears fruit, Christians are called to bear fruit by advocating for those needs. Supporting Medicaid and similar programs is a tangible way to help those who cannot afford health care. It's an expression of the biblical mandate to care for the sick and support the well-being of our communities. Prospering through justice. The psalm notes that the righteous will prosper. This doesn't necessarily mean material wealth, but a flourishing that comes from living in accordance with God's will. When communities support programs like Medicaid, they reflect God's justice and experience the blessing of a healthier, more just society. Our application in this text are advocacy and action. Encourage those of faith in your communities to advocate for policies that support healthcare for the vulnerable, align with the biblical principles of justice and compassion, prayer and support, prayer for those who rely on Medicaid and for those who make decisions about healthcare policies, and look for ways to support organizations that provide healthcare to the underserved. Community engagement. Organize or participate in community efforts that provide healthcare, education, and support for those in need, reflecting the love and justice of God in practical ways. By living out the principles of Psalm 1, believers can be like trees planted by the water, standing firm in righteousness and bearing fruit that reflects God's justice and compassion for all. Thank you.